What's up, y'all? CEO. Back with another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Breaking Ground show by Fatty. I missed it. I know this live was supposed to be yesterday. I spent my day at the DMV. Total waste of time. Total waste of time. Apparently, it's difficult to prove you're an American citizen when you're in fact American citizen and with your original birth certificate and social security card. But that's a story for another day, another video. I actually saw the tail end of the Breaking Ground show, so I'm going to try to watch it in its entirety today, and then give my commentary. I think it was like a 4-hour, 3.5-hour show. Let me bring it up to the stage, and we could get right into it. Yeah.
Once again, thank you very much to my guests for being here. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me introduce the ladies first. Miss Messi Michonne. She is in the building. Thank you very much, Messi, for being here. We appreciate you. We have a legend from TikTok, the Love Skeptic. She's in the building. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you. We have the infamous HQ. She's in the building. Thank you very much, HQ, for being here. Thank you. We have my brother Jeremy. He is in the building. Salute to you, Jeremy.
Shout out to Jeremy. Jeremy, a quiet assassin, speaks real softly but makes great points, and he speaks with intention too. Shout out to Jeremy. Jeremy, I want that chess rematch. I ain't forget about that. I want that chess rematch.
Shout out to you. We have the one and only Taruz. Salute to you, Taruz. A great friend of the show, Cheeky Banter, is in the building. Thank you, Cheeky, for being here. And last but not least, the one and only Chaotic Truth is in the building. Thank you very much. He's already shooting from 3. That's crazy. So, friends, as an icebreaker, let me move myself over here. As an icebreaker, we're going to start with the Spain's great betrayal, okay? As you guys know, the United States, when they started the war with Iran and they had the support of Israel, they asked for help for their usual allies, okay? Not only NATO countries, but like some nations specific in Europe that they needed logistics to use, right? And Spain said, we are not going to do it. Donald Trump said asked to the Prime Minister of Spain if we could use his bases, and he kind of replied like this.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the think you is?
We kind of know that the United States has been the strong arm of NATO, and they are usually the end-all be-all when it comes to supporting international military actions. So the question is this, okay? Spain just slammed the door on the United States planes. They enjoy the protection of NATO umbrella, but...
So is Spain truly an ally of the United States? If we can't even use the bases there? I'll be pissed if I allow my homies, if I bankrolled my homies, and then when I needed assistance, they couldn't help. I'd be pissed. That's weird. Spain said no. Let's see what else.
Refuse to let us use their airspace to finish the job in Iran. Is this a sovereign right or a total act of treason? Okay, Trump is ready to make them pay. Should we, as y'all, retaliate by cutting Madrid off the global economy? Should the United States retaliate financially and making sure that Spain pays for the fact that they dared to say no to Donald Trump.
It's time to do.
The ladies upstairs, Messi, Michonne, and HQ, y'all can start, and then we go from there.
Let me come up off of mute. Thanks for having me. Shout out to the panel, everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Listen, I look at it differently. I'm just going to say that you can say no, but I think you'll probably need me before I need you. That's how I look at it.
That's a fact. I think Spain will need the U.S. before we need Spain. And that time that we needed Spain, they said, no, we can't use their airspace. That means fly over the country, right? We can't fly over their country. Yeah, I agree with Dr. Messi. Spain will need us before we need Spain. But I don't think we should retaliate by cutting them off from the world economy, because that would be petty. And then I don't think Trump is the right guy to do it. Maybe somebody else can do it, but I don't think Trump should do that.
So
Trump should really focus on finishing this military operation as quickly as possible before the end of the month.
See what happens in the simplest form. I'm thinking it's a mistake, but time will tell.
Would you retaliate financially, Messi?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Would you wait or right now?
Say again?
Would you wait for it or right now? Would you make them feel that right now?
Would we wait? Would I wait for it? Why? Wait for what? You made your decision. We need to make our decision. That's how I look at it.
I see how she got her name. She messy. I'll leave him alone. I just wouldn't back them if thing were to go left for them. I wouldn't rush into it. I mean, maybe not allowing U.S. to use their airspace was the better decision so they could protect their citizens, being that Iran likes to bomb its neighboring nations and whatnot. And I believe Iran got missiles that could reach Spain. So I guess they're just trying to stay out of it. But I wouldn't react right now. Somebody else should do it. Not during Trump's administration, though.
She said, give him the business immediately.
You gotta get him back. You better go down there and get him back.
HQ.
Yes. Well, Spain is a part of the NATO alliance. The NATO alliance has in Article 5, if a NATO country is attacked, they have an obligation to help if a NATO country is attacked. United States was not attacked. So therefore, NATO allies are not obligated to join the forces.
And that's exactly why I don't think Trump should do anything right now. You know, but as far as the military and the generals and everything, and people who's going to be in charge of the military, I'm sure they're going to remember when America asked for assistance. But HQ is right with the Article 5. U.S. wasn't attacked. So she's right with that.
So
that's all.
So you wouldn't retaliate in any shape or form?
If I was the United States, I would have no standing. I am one of the founders. So I understand what the Article 5 is of NATO. It says we only help in a defensive position. United States is not in a defensive position. So therefore, I don't need to step in. So therefore, you can't retaliate, or you can, I guess, but you're not supposed to because you understand Article 5. And you're the founder and the person who put those articles into place. So therefore, you should understand that. But seeing as how Trump is just dumb, he doesn't understand that.
Damn. Jeremy?
All right, so does NATO have a dog in the fight? Short answer, no. Should they help by allowing them to use their bases for refuel and stations? I believe they should, but they didn't. That's their choice. But when we think about it, they haven't really been holding their weight anyway. Everybody's supposed to give a certain amount of money to NATO, and they only do about 2% or right up under that. So they're not even reaching the minimum requirement.
Yeah, and that's one thing Trump ran on or spoke about extensively, that the countries of NATO wasn't paying their fair share. And Jeremy made a good point. We asked, they said no, it's well within their rights, but they wasn't pulling their own weight anyway. So it's still all up to us.
Actually, U.S. covers over about 70% of NATO's total defense spending. So I would think that if the one who is actually giving you the shield for the majority of the time would like to use your base for refueling, not saying that you have to be in the fight, but can I stop by your house real quick? Can I pick up something? And you say no, then no, we shouldn't retaliate, but don't come knocking at my door.
They're going to need us before we need them.
Exactly.
Cheeky.
I think America has undermined every international ally that we've had, with the talk and speak of invading Greenland to take their own country. Right? Like we've already entered into other countries, taken and abducted their own, sovereign leaders. America in this current state has no right to ask for any help from anybody, and no one should.
People like to bring that up a lot, saying we abducted sovereign leaders. I mean, we brought them back alive, and I think that's great within itself. I mean, the people were eating out of sanitation trucks. They were starving. I don't think bringing a bad guy to justice is such a bad thing. And they word it that way so it can sound all diplomatic and whatnot. But when he took that president and brought him back to Brooklyn, I don't think that was bad. I mean, the people celebrated it. It seems like only the Americans are mad at it. American citizens are mad at it. The people from that country that's here, they celebrated it. That's a little bit of TDS, but whatever.
Feel obligated under any circumstance to help America, because a lot of America's problems have been started and caused by America. So Spain taking the position that they did makes a lot of sense. In America's mouth, aka Donald Trump, has undermined NATO and its allies, and the history of the allyship and the history of every NATO nation, to the point where it doesn't make any sense to want the help now, after you've caused a global crisis by closing the Strait of Hormuz and everyone's economy is collapsing due to that. So that's my standpoint on it. They can reject it. They should. There's no reason to help people that don't seem to care about it, and they don't.
I think countries of NATO undermined the agreement that they had, especially if historically they wasn't paying a fair share. I mean, if I was paying for something from the store and they were charging me $1, and then I come to find out that I was only supposed to get charged 25 cents, I'd be pissed too, and I would call people out on that too. So I don't blame Trump for saying he's not going to front the bill of NATO defenses when these other countries aren't paying their fair share. So they undermined the agreement first. And I think this president now is just talking about it and refusing to pay.
Don't give any help at all, global terrors. Like, yeah, no, fuck this country right now. It's okay though, because one day we'll kick him out and then put somebody in that knows how to run a country, and not this guy.
Damn, strong statements. CT?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Should the United States retaliate? Should the United States punish Spain for their audacity to say no?
Believe it or not, man, you're going to be surprised at this answer, Fatty. I support Spain. Spain is, let's be honest about it, man. They fumbled the bag hundreds of years ago. But being a part of NATO, there are security guarantees that are, for the most part, primarily funded by the United States. You know, the United States government funds 70%.
I'm glad you said something, Steve. Why don't you tell me what the NATO agreement is and what they should have been paying, specifically the finances? All right. So just let me know.
Of NATO. I don't know if anybody knows that Spain only funds, I think, what, 1 or 2%. It's very small. You would believe that with America pretty much bankrolling NATO, Spain would allow the U.S. to use its airspace or to use whatever bases. However, Spain, and I'm pretty sure you've been there because you're right next door, Spain is really a service economy, to be completely honest with you, man. It's not really a superpower anymore. It's really, you know, a tourist attraction. It's not any place that should support the United States support the United States, because what will happen is, I guess Spain looks at it. What's the prime minister's name? Pedro. What's the prime minister's name? Fatty, I forgot his damn name. He called it out. How this violates international law, because if you destabilize the Middle East, what happens, Fatty?
They come to Spain.
They come to Spain in droves. All these refugees. So I guess Spain.
The north of Spain, as the Strait of Gibraltar, is literally like a 10-mile situation. Yeah, that's what most of the immigrants cross.
So I guess Spain is looking out for its long-term interest. And, you know, as much as I'm an American nationalist, and as much as I recognize that we do bankroll NATO, I'm gonna have to side with Spain on this one, man. I think America should take the loss on this one, to be completely honest with you.
The United States does not bankroll NATO.
70% of NATO is funded by
70%.
70%.
Before y'all go on the back and forth, friends.
I heard you 70%.
1 second, HQ. 1 second, HQ. HQ, make notes, please. Friends, let's just get Septic out of here, and then we do open panel about this situation, because I actually want to hear from HQ and the rest of the crowd. Go ahead, Cody, finish your point.
Tarus has to go as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Tarus. My bad, man.
Yeah.
So, so essentially, man, in the long run, the United States is really putting the EU and the countries within the United Nations, they're putting them in a very tough situation here. And let's be honest, I guess we can get into the topic of why we are really in Iran anyway, but that's what I had to say about that particular segment about Spain, Fatty.
Thank you very much, Kartik. Let's get the Septic and then Tarus, and then we do open panel. HQ goes first.
Yeah, I think the part that I don't know if it has been touched yet is why we're even there. We had an agreement that Iran had already signed. That was a really good agreement in which they were going to keep certain things under control. We had no reason to rip up that agreement. We had no reason to go out there. Like, we have no business going out there. And I think not only...
Yeah, they did reach an agreement. I don't know what happened that made him go in. I still don't know why we're going in there. I believe CNN showed some footage of some like underground like tunnels with like drones and missiles, and it showed this big arsenal. I think they went in because of that, but I'm not sure of the official reason. They kept saying about nuclear weapons and whatnot, but I thought we destroyed that earlier this year. I don't know why we attacked them the second time. I don't know.
Do we have an unqualified person in office that is showing us actively that they are unqualified, and they have hired people that should not be in these positions of leadership, that don't know how they're going to respond? The very fact that we didn't know how to counter their drones.
Steve is back. Hold on. Steve is back. What's that, Steve? The NATO agreement is that every country is to put a percentage of their defenses in case your allies needs assistance. they are able to respond. No individual country is paying for defense anymore. So what's this rhetoric that America pays 70% of the NATO defenses? Because everybody on the panel can agree that NATO is paying 70%. So where did that number come from? And why does the president believe we're paying too much? I got you, Marine. Thank you for your service too, brother. Well, I appreciate you. My granddad was a Marine as well, right? He died alone. And but please tell me where are we getting this 70% number from? Because we have a larger economy. Okay. So what percentage? Okay. So NATO has a number that needs to be met. Like the pot is, let's just throw a number out there. The pot is like $1 billion, and we're paying 700 million of that $1 billion because of our large economy. I'm gonna continue to play until you find that reason for me. But thanks for your service, Stephen.
Right. And we had Zelensky that had come to the White House and told them, we know how to counter their drones in a cheaper fashion. Sorry. But because we were so arrogant, because of white men imperialistic mentality that they have, in which they want to come in and bully you to do the things that they want you to do, and they think that there's going to be no retaliation. They look down on other countries and think that they're not capable of things like war. They think that you don't have the capability to come in and attack people. They think that you have no power to do anything to defend yourself. The imperialistic way of thinking has gotten us to this point. And in reality, I think that it's not just an issue with Iran. This is a global issue. This is a global problem because America went off trying to tariff everybody. They were going to negatively affect Spain with their agriculture and technology by trying to tariff people for no reason. America was on the defense before there was anything going on. They were attacking their allies when there was no issue with anybody. So I think if anything, it was starting to build up and something was going to blow. And this was just the first thing to go.
With the tariffs, Trump used the tariff to incentivize foreign companies and big companies to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And during COVID, we got a big reality check when we realized we don't make much of anything, right? We barely make our cars. A lot of our cars is made, it used to be Detroit. That's not there. I know they got a Kia factory, which I think is a Korean car factory that's in Georgia. I know a lot of Fords are made in Mexico. And he definitely just was trying to use the tariffs to get people to bring manufacturing back into the country. And it worked. Apparently, he got a bunch of investments into American manufacturing. So we gonna see how that works. You can't build a factory in a year. We probably won't even see the results of this until he's out of office. But let's see how it goes. Oh, Steven's back. No, we put in more because economical growth is bigger. So we put on more. We are the only country that has military industrial complex. We fund war more than education. Okay, but what's that number? Because everybody is saying 70%. What is the number that we're putting in? Okay. It's all love here. It's always love. But I'm looking for the number. Like what like, you know what I'm saying? Like if everybody's saying 70%, I'm hearing 70%. You're right. I don't know the official number that we pay. Like, so what's the number that we pay? Right? And 70% for one country even though we have a war industrial complex, seems like a lot. I know we sell F-15s to India and Israel and F-35s to Israel and stuff like that. 69.7. Okay, 69.7%. That's why they saying 70. What is the number? What is the dollar amount? Is what I'm asking. Stu. You know what I mean? Stu Vision. My bad. I was calling you Steven. Stu Vision. What's the dollar amount? You know? Because apparently it's pissing off the president. And apparently we be bankrolling it like it's nothing. We gave away 200 billion to what's the country? Blue and yellow, Ukraine, right? So it's like, what's the number?
Thank you very much, Tarus. And then we open the panel. HQ. Sorry, Tarus.
Yeah, I surprisingly agree with most of the panel, thankfully. First and foremost, no country is obligated to help another country with an illegal war, with an illegal invasion, first and foremost. Second, NATO is a defensive alliance, not an offensive alliance. So that already negates it. Second, anybody talking about, well, the Strait of Hormuz is important. Let's remember, guys, the EU didn't have a problem with the Strait of Hormuz until who started a war in the region? Now everybody has to pay a fee, a toll to Iran to get their boats out. And which, by the way, shout out to all you guys who were fear-mongering BRICS, because this is exactly how you devalue the US currency and get it to like the Chinese yuan. By the way, that's what the oil tankers have to pay in the currency when they're going through the Strait of Hormuz now. So good job, guys. You are self-fulfilling prophecy. So yes, the EU is under no obligation to help us. Spain specifically is under no obligation to help us. And Fatty, why would Spain help us in a war that Trump already said we won?
It's not officially war yet, but I'm afraid it might get there. Let's get back to Stu Vision 420. What you smoking on, brother? It's not the dollar amount. Okay. I'm sure that costs a lot of money. Thanks, Stu. Thanks for your insight. I appreciate it. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe, brother.
Damn. HQ, I know you had the comment about the and I'm putting Jeremy because Jeremy had some.
Yeah, I know, but that, that has a dollar amount too, right? I know it's a cost to the, what you called it? War industrial complex, right? So I'm pretty sure that has a number. I realize we got bases all over the world and all that. So it got to cost something, I'm just, I would love to know what that costs, because apparently the Pentagon gets to fail every audit and no one bats an eye.
Say about the NATO, like 70%. What do you want to say about that?
Each country in NATO is obligated to pay 2%. That's it. 2%. If they decide to pay more, that's on them. The United States pays 3 to 3.5%. Everybody else pays around 2%, except the Baltic states. And the Baltic states pay 1.5 or 1 to 1.5. The United States is voluntarily paying 3 to 3.5%. They're only obligated to do 2%. So United States is only putting out about 800 billion. That's what they're obligated to pay.
That's what now I got a number, 800 billion. Shit. 800 billion. The moment you put a dollar amount on human life, you already lost your humanity. A life is worth more. I understand that. I totally understand that. And I agree with you, Stu. Thing is, 800 billion. And when is this paid every year? You understand what I'm saying? Are we paying 800 billion every year? Because that's a lot. That's a lot. That's 800 Bs. That's a lot.
Per the treaty in NATO. So stop saying the United States is paying more than they're supposed to. They're voluntarily doing 1% more, but everybody else is paying what they're supposed to be paying, except the smaller in the Baltic states. That's it.
All right. So
and what they're paying is irrelevant because they are under no obligation to assist in an offensive war.
But I'll agree with you on that as far as the United States paying more. But actually, they're below the 2%. All right. So economicinsider.com, you can go check it out. That's the reference point. But they are below the 2%. They're not hitting what they're supposed to be hitting. So yeah, you can say that we're covering the bill, sure, but they're not putting forth their part. Now, am I saying that they should actually? Well, it isn't just Spain.
I just said that there's some smaller states, some smaller countries that are not paying all of their share. They're paying 1 to 1.5%. Some are, but the bulk of them are paying their 2%, which is per the treaty of NATO.
But the sum is the issue because Spain doesn't fall under the pre-qualification that you just said. So that's where that issue comes from. So I'm not saying
Spain fall under it. It's a member of NATO.
Okay, you said before that the ones that are paying below, they were what kind?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you got to understand, Stu. I come from a military family. All of my uncles, military, Marines. Everybody, I think everyone was Marines. Even my first wife, Army. Her brother-in-law, Coast Guard. Thankfully, they all made it back. I had some cousins that fought in Iraq. They were a little shaken up when they got back, but they all made it back. And not just Black lives, neither. Any type of life. You sign up to be in the military, and then you get over there, and then the details are skewed. My best friend came back and told me they spent a majority of their time. What he went? He joined the Army. He was in the Army. He said he spent most of his time guarding oil tankers. That's what he did. Guarding oil tankers and money. That's what he did over there. And he said sometimes it'll just like bombs will start falling from the sky and whatnot. So we really don't be knowing what be going on because all they showed us during that time, I'm talking about the war in Iraq, the war on terrorism. All they showed us was the IEDs and, people getting blown to bits. We really don't be knowing what be going on. But thank God all my family made it back. But I feel you on that. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Word up. I got the utmost respect for anyone that joins any type of military service. Coast Guard, Air Force, Reserves, Marines, especially the Marines. If they made it to Navy SEALs, shout out to you. I call them American Ninjas. Rangers, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Facts. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Baltic states.
All right. So you're saying that Spain is the Baltic state?
No, but I said some are not paying. I didn't say only all Baltic states.
Right. I got you.
I just gave you an example of some that are not paying all of the 2%.
Right.
Okay. Spain could fall under that 1%, but that makes no difference. You keep bringing.
Shout out to him, man. Yo, I ain't gonna front. When I was 18, I signed up for the Navy, right? And then I had asthma at the time. they took me down to Virginia to like some big ass hospital, and then like they put me in this gas chamber, and they kept pumping some gas in there to simulate an asthma attack, but like the gas was making my windpipe close. And when I got out of there, you know, that last contract you got to sign before you join, I told them I needed to think about it. I ain't joining the Navy after that, bro. Because I felt like they tried to kill me in that gas chamber. Yeah, man. I was going to join the Navy for sure. I think my job I was going to be the ones on hanging off the side of the boat, cleaning the ships. That was going to be my job. But shout out to your nephew, man. For sure. For sure. The Navy is fresh, though. I think the Navy is fresher than everybody else.
Up money. It makes no difference. They voluntarily put themselves on the line for NATO. They have a volunteer. They can volunteer to get into the war. They don't have to get into the war. And the United States is the aggressor. They only.
Your nephew like to fly? I'm only asking because, yo, see if he could become a pilot, bro. For sure. The Navy pilots are better than the Air Force pilots. See if he could become a pilot, man.
They have a defensive position. Do you not understand what defensive means? I help you if somebody attacks you. Nobody attacked the United States, so therefore it's not a defense position.
We agree on that. We agree on that.
Just for clarification purpose, okay? Spain was paying 1.28%, and there was several countries that was paying way less than 2%.
Yeah.
But because of Trump, kind of the actions, the Europe is kind of isolating themselves, and for the first time, all the countries actually went above either matched or went above the 2%. So now everybody is.
Sorry for the derailment, y'all. Me and Stu connecting right now, man. He wants to fly, and yes, it was my advice. Yeah. Tell him to get in the air, get his wings, tell him to get his wings, man. And yeah, man, tell him don't look forward to flying like the F-22. They don't really fly. See if you could get into a Super Hornet or a F-15. I know one just got shot down, but like F-15 is a cool plane, man. The F-15 is a cool plane. F-15 and the what's my other one I like? The Super Hornet. The Super Hornet, I think it's a FE, the single seater. Yeah. See if you can get in one of those, man. Yeah. Try to convince him to fly, bro. For sure.
Eating the quotas of NATO. The thing that is not like the United States and Americans are applauding that. The thing is that the Europeans start to arm themselves now. Even I think Denmark order billions of dollars in missiles from the United States to kind of defend themselves in case the United States do something, which is kind of ridiculous. But things that was supposed to be people that were superior allies, which is Europeans and the United States, now the Europeans start to develop the weapons that they never did because they thought we can kind of get away with it because the United States got it. They have the bases, we lend them to them, we give them the space for them to put their nuclear weapons and all that, and we good to go. So kind of like it looks like they go ahead, G.
I think another thing too to mention is like the United States was okay with that due to the influence that it has globally.
Yes,
right.
I can agree with that.
The United States as I think more than 20 nuclear like weapons, not 20.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Likes are free. You know what I mean? If you want to buy me a Red Bull, I think the banner's at the top.
On the hundreds nuclear weapons in Europe, and they have several bases around it that they use on the regular. Matter of fact, when the United States went to war on Afghanistan, when they were attacked on the 9/11, the meeting was in Portugal. It was on Azores. It was on one of the.
Now the banner's at the top. Buy me a Red Bull, man.
Portuguese bases with Tony Blair and the Spanish Prime Minister at that point. So it's kind of well known that the European geopolitical situation actually helps a lot the United States to get access to the Middle East without having to travel the whole Atlantic Ocean to get access to them.
Real quick, guys, just a point of order, Fatty. We need to remember that our European allies were already arming themselves about 3-4 years ago when another madman in Eastern Europe decided to invade a country for no stupid reason whatsoever.
That's
right?
fair.
Vladimir.
Hold on. To my knowledge, Russia said they will stay in pocket if no NATO nation was on its borders. And I think Ukraine broke that agreement by trying to join NATO, right? So technically, I think Ukraine made the first move and Russia just was like, nah, I'm coming in to take whatever.
Putin invading Ukraine. That's also one of the
they don't mention that part though. They don't be mentioning that no NATO nations on the border of Russia. They just say he invaded for no reason. I don't like that when you omit information.
reasons our European allies boosted up the defense spending, especially Poland, who armed themselves almost immediately because it's almost like they've seen this movie multiple times before in their history.
Okay,
right? So we got to remember, Europe, with all the social spending, they have been taking these measures already to arm themselves and defend themselves. The issue
I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna let the video play for a little bit. I'm gonna turn it up.
is that again, defend themselves against Russia, not made up threats in the Middle East.
Okay, so, and I agree with what you guys are saying. I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but I am saying Spain is still lagging behind. I just checked the NATO website right now, and they're projected to hit 2%. They have not hit 2% yet.
So, Jeremy, can I tell you why real quick? Can I tell you, Fatty?
Of course you can.
Spain, Jeremy, I don't know how much you know about Spain, but CT had
I don't know anything about Spain.
Already mentioned it before. Spain fumbled the bag because they were one of the great colonizers, right? Colonial powers. They have been bailed out multiple times by the IMF and by the EU over and over again for financial mismanagement. As far as Western Europe's concerned, they're basically the Mexico to North America because a lot of their cheap labor with like car manufacturing and things like that, all of that's done in Spain most of the time. And so the reason why they can't match their military spending, Jeremy, is because they can't match any spending right now.
And I agree with that. And I also agree with the fact that they don't have to help. I'm just saying if we're going to state numbers, then we need to state the right numbers. We can't say that everybody over there is doing it if we know that everybody isn't. And if they can't, that's fine. But let's be honest.
For sure, Jeremy.
Anyone wants to add something about this?
Yeah, could I respond to that comment that was saying that I can't call Trump unqualified? I can call him unqualified because he lied to the American people. He added on to the national debt. He has not completed.
All politicians lie to the American people. The debt is going to continue to go up anyway.
He did anything that he promised to America. He did not put America first. He put every other nation before him.
He secured all those deals to bring America manufacturing back to America.
He started tariffing our allies, so now we have isolated ourselves. And you cannot say that part of the issue as to why the EU and other nations are saying no to America does not have to do with tariffs. It does. It ultimately has to do with diplomacy and the fact that America, because its mentality of bullying people into doing things that it wants it to do.
A lot of these countries wasn't allowing people to start businesses in their country. What they call it, fair market, what they called it, thinking fair market trading. People were allowed to sell their products in America. We wasn't allowed to sell our products in those countries. I can understand the food because American food is shit. So I totally understand the food. But as far as businesses and services, it was unfair. And people got to mention that. And since you want to sell here in America, you're going to have to pay. It's as simple as that.
their own benefit because they want cheap oil is the reason why we're here. We already had an agreement. There was no reason for him to go back on the agreement. He just came out and said it was a bad agreement. He had no idea what the agreement was. The man cannot put a full sentence together without stumbling and saying something that is lunatic.
And the lady that ran against him could, right? I think we were unburdened by what has been.
Like, the fact that you still call him qualified, to whoever said that in the chat, is an issue that shows me your intellect is lacking a little bit of logic.
Messi, is Trump qualified?
You're muted.
You're on mute, Messi. You gotta come off mute.
And by the way, shout out to the 500 people watching the show. Please like the video where you're watching and support the content creators there. We are going to read every single super chat that you send, regardless of where you send it. Okay, go ahead, Messi.
I actually had asked, what is he qualified for? What do you ask me if he's qualified for? To be president? Obviously, I guess he is, because he crossed off all the what's necessary to become president, and he was elected as president. Is he good? Is he bad? That's for everyone else to decide. Is he not like every other politician? No, he's not like every other politician. Does he do everything that he's supposed to the way he's supposed to? Maybe. No, he doesn't. I think that the reason why Trump was elected is because on the Democratic side, people like to lie and just say that something is what it is and we're just supposed to believe it. And I think that there's a lack of masculinity across the whole United States. And if the only thing that I can say about him maybe is the reason why people elected him is because he's more masculine. And people probably don't want a woman to be president. But mainly because I think Democrats just like to lie and people are tired of it, which is why he got elected. Now, the first time he got elected is because everyone thought he was a joke and they just laughed him off. And then he snuck up there and then he became president. So.
And that's messy, is it?
Our pockets was better, man. I'm telling you. When he said, what do you got to lose? I didn't vote. So don't even start to label me as a Trump supporter. I'm just making observations. And I noticed life got better immediately. If he was elected in 2016, I can say by mid 2017, life was good. Life was great until September 22nd, 2021. Yes, I remember the date. I don't know what shift. I started working. I moved to Atlanta. I started working more hours and I was getting less money and things was getting more expensive. It just didn't, I don't know what was going on. My stock portfolio wasn't doing too well. I don't know what happened. Right. And it's not like the pandemic. I actually made a lot of money in the pandemic as well. Doing freelance marketing for companies and whatnot through videography and photography and whatnot. So like, and it was great because it was a small crews and it was real intimate. And I was just always busy. Somewhere like around every time I left the house, I guaranteed I made like $1,000 to $1,500. And I was out the house like 3-4 times a week. Life was good during that time.
Is it masculine to cover up
from a financial perspective?
Sex trafficking of minors? Is that a masculine thing to do?
People always saying that no one got evidence. All they say he's mentioned in the files. No one got evidence. So far in the files, they keep saying Trump was the one that called the cops on old boy. They got to stop saying that. They got to stop running with that.
No, it absolutely isn't.
Is it a masculine thing to do to lie about having sex with a porn star on national TV, end up having to pay hush money, and your lawyer goes to prison? Is that masculine?
What I say,
it is a little embarrassing to have to admit you was sleeping with a porn star. I mean, so what? He slept with a porn star, right? Toro strike me as the type of dudes who spends at least $1,000 a month on OF.
Is the fact that we're tired of people that think,
and we're fronting the bill. Thank you for your service, though.
Think that everybody who wants to be a man when they're a woman, or who thinks they're a woman when they're a man, and people are supposed to support it, not supposed to say anything. Yeah, we're tired of that type of stuff. I'm tired of men who cry all the time. No problem with crying, but out here on the streets looking like they don't really know that they're not in a reality show, and then want to put them in charge or put them in front of us, and we're not supposed to say anything. I'm over that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are over that.
Sidebar: this alkaline water from Amazon is really good. 8.5 pH. It's really good. I need to get one of those tests to see if it's really alkaline, but it actually tastes good. It's really close to Fiji too. It tastes like Fiji water.
I'm not talking about anything else other than demeanor. That's all I'm talking about. And the fact that people try to say that
yes, demeanor. Like when President Kennedy, they say, well, what I was taught in American history, that television won John F. Kennedy Jr., or was it John F. Kennedy? JFK, the election, because he was so young and handsome and had the charisma and all that.
Woman was black when she wasn't. I'm pretty sure many of people weren't falling for that.
Dr. Messi, is it masculine to?
I'm not going to keep answering that.
I'm just saying you brought up masculinity, and so I'm just trying to figure out, because again, you also brought up masculinity. You brought up transgender kids, and so I'm just trying to walk it, Dr. Messi, because based on your logic, because some of these issues are going on, that made you decide to vote for a guy who was already found. I'm sorry, I'll let you speak. He was already found liable for sexual.
Because this is the pilot. Once a person said that they don't want to reply to no more, make a statement to Ruth. It's going to have the same type of effect, right?
Yeah.
So I know you walk it down. No. You did well. No, 1 second. Yeah, because you walk it down, but as soon as people don't want to engage, just make a statement instead of asking the question. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Check you out, Fatty. Good catch. Good catch, Fatty. Yeah, love that.
I agree. My bad, Dr. Messi. So
no, you're doing great. You're doing great. Go ahead.
Yeah. So guys, when you're super worried about somebody else's kids, and that somehow forces you to vote for a guy who was already held liable for sexual assault in 2024, and then on top of that, he's continuing to cover up the sex trafficking of minors by pedophiles because he's also probably one himself. Like, at some point, when are you going to be able to critique him and his actions without bringing something else up? That's all I got. That's all I want to know, guys. What's the standard?
Anyone wants to go after Tarus?
Yeah, I think Dr. Messi brought up a good point, right? I don't think she did anything besides give an explanation as to how Trump got into office, right?
Thank you.
I think that what she's saying has some truth to it, which is the Democratic Party, by and large, messaging-wise, hasn't been the strongest. It hasn't been catered toward young men, right? Because, there's the red pill to conservative pipeline that I'm sure we're aware about, but it was intentionally targeting young men to get them to also vote and think, differently and that's how he got the young vote from the young men, especially white men, right? White men feel, right? And I'm saying feel as if they're being victimized in today's current time.
He also got a lot of the Latin vote too, and a lot of the black vote. They don't talk about that, but whatever.
So if you can,
Georgia actually flipped back red.
Strategize that. Also put the people,
all the swing states,
in the right podcast.
Popular vote.
It's like sitting with Andrew Schultz or sitting with
demolished in the Electoral College.
Any of the what's his name? Joe Rogan. When you start putting,
they're getting so desperate now, they're trying to lower the voting age to 16. Right? They're trying to lower the voting. They suggested that the voting age should be 16 now. Right? 16. So you can't buy a drink, you can fight in wars. And you can't fight in war, but you can vote for your politician.
You don't find that suspicious?
Putting your politicians in the places young people visit, and you start curtailing a message, true or false, but make them feel as if they're being heard, you're going to get the support. Right now, what we've noticed is young people realize they've been duped, which is why his numbers and approval ratings has dropped amongst all people. Right, and they're starting to realize I got duped, but she's not saying anything false. She's only giving a prescription to what she saw, and I would agree. People would say being a Democrat is kind of gay. That's what they would say, and you don't have to be like the most online person to hear that, because that's just how people view Democrats: soft, weak. Y'all like transgender people, and again, I think while I do think that's,
I wouldn't just call it out gay. I would say they like to muck the waters, right? They definitely like to pollute the waters, throw smoke in the air, so you can't. They put up what's it called? A smoke screen. They put up a smoke screen so you don't really see what's going on, and they always point like, "Look what this person is doing. Look what this person is doing. Look what he's doing." But they'll shut down the government to try to shut down ICE, right? They like even the first government shutdown. They didn't even get nothing to reopen it. They purposely kept it shut down just so it could be on record that it was the longest shutdown in history. Right? They didn't even get nothing. And then for this recent one, they saying, I heard somebody on CNN News say Trump is illegally paying TSA agents. So open the government up so he could do it legally. Like, it's a lot of childish behavior going on in Congress, and you gotta really watch like C-SPAN and stuff to see what they're voting on. They're voting on a lot of weird stuff, and it's a lot of Democrats. I remember all the Democrats voted to not reveal the people in the Senate who was accused of SA. Like, I got to pay attention to that. Like, mute all the Trump derangement stuff and really see what these congressmen and senators are doing. Then you'll get a wider perspective. That's why I don't vote, because it's just people call me ignorant for not voting, but I'll focus on a local level, fix these potholes in the Bronx.
Limited and maybe not the smartest, observation. That's just true. We lost. And when I say we, I'm saying the United States and people.
But I agree with you on the strategy. You see, that's the thing. I agree that was the strategy. I'm pushing back on the fact that people still fell for that dumb shit. Because based on everything you just said, Cheeky, just remember.
Yeah, for sure.
For the young people, fine. But we're talking about people our age and older who knew better. Right?
Okay, and well, that's different to Bruce.
Hold on, Cheeky. And then on top of that, at what point are you going to practice what you preach? Right? At what point, Cheeky, are people who vote for this guy going to tell people to do their research, and then you find out, Cheeky, they don't do their research? Like, how many times is this strategy going to work?
I mean, they really wanted us to vote for Kamala Harris. I don't think these people were familiar with what she did in LA. Parents were getting arrested in LA when she was, I believe, either the governor. No, not the governor. When she was like the district attorney, whatever position of power she had in California, she was locking up parents for children missing school. Right? She was locking up single moms for kids missing school. And then want to turn around and say Bad Man Orange is separating families. I mean, what's going on? She also purposely withheld evidence. I know it's probably just one guy, but she withheld evidence for somebody who was on death row. Right? She obviously read from a script. Her debate, she had an earpiece in her ear. Right? She couldn't even address the people that were waiting outside in the cold in Georgia when she lost the election. Does that sound like a leader to you? Her solution to the housing crisis wasn't to lower prices. It was to build 3 million more houses and only give. I remember when she made every family would get a $25,000. First time home buyers would get $25,000 toward buying a house. You know what happened when she announced that? Some place in Georgia had a house for $1 million. It went up $25,000. So it was $1 million to $1,025,000. You feel me? Her proposals just wasn't smart at all. And anybody could see that she was a drunk. So we had either the guy we know that could run the country that everybody hates, or we could have the lady who went ghost for 4 years run the country. Like what were our options? You see, it was a lack of options there. She didn't even have a primary. We conveniently skip over that. What happened to the primary? Because if we'd have had a primary, she would have got washed. She wouldn't have made it past the primary if they would have held one for her. We didn't say nothing about they removing democracy with that. But we got a president trying to get voters' ID. You know what? Let me talk about I couldn't. I was born in Brooklyn. I couldn't get my ID yesterday at the DMV. I had my birth certificate. I had my New York State identification card. I had my Georgia's real ID driver's license. Right? They told me they're not going to accept my birth certificate because it's laminated. Like, why wouldn't it? I've been using that birth certificate all my life, and it was accepted everywhere. It was actually used to get my original ID. So why all of a sudden it's not accepted? Why was it so difficult for me to, as an American citizen, born here, not green card, American birth certificate? I had 2 passports that expired, right? Hard for me to trade in my driver's license to get a new one, because I'm going for the enhanced driver's license. I don't know if your state might do that, but New York State got this thing called enhanced driver's license. I just want the best form of identification I can have, so I won't have any problems when I'm traveling. But when you go down a list of the papers you need, it seems like immigrants can submit expired documents as long as it's only been expired for less than 2 years. That's weird to me. That's weird to me. President said they stole an election. Over 100,000 votes wasn't submitted in Georgia. He don't be bugging, man. He don't be bugging, but y'all be missing it.
Work with
y'all distracted
now because
at these protests, no kings. If he was a kings, he would have sent the army to, you know what I mean? Come on. If he was a king, you wouldn't be allowed to protest the way you do. If he was a king,
we now
don't forget that.
Based on that masculinity cheeky that you just talked about, based on the fact that Democrats are all small and weak, we are now $40 trillion in debt. We've given 2 countries with universal health care billions of dollars. We've started another war in the Middle East. We started a global trade war where we even tear at the island full of penguins, apparently. Right.
True.
And by the way, none of our allies respect us. So I'm trying to figure out, yes, the strategy worked, but when are people going to stop falling for the dumbass messaging?
Let me
That's
get
a good question.
Chicky and then Chaotic over here, and then we open again.
Let me just interject real quick. When a Democrat decides to change their messaging, that's when it might change. But because they continue to push through the same crap and they don't change their message, how do you expect something to ever change? They're not budging. They're still saying that Cam had a great strategy to lose the presidency. So if you don't, Jasmine Crockett did the best that she ever could. It was just racism. So if you just are going to blame other people for the reasons why you lose and you don't change your strategy, it's not going to change.
Donald Trump literally started an insurrection for blaming others for why he lost. Like, this is insane.
You're
already insane.
You're not listening. If everything is going to be focusing on Donald Trump, you're going to lose again. If everything is about we don't do anything wrong, you will lose again. It's not working.
I came out the bathroom just to hear him say he started an insurrection, even though BBC is trying to settle a lawsuit because they had to admit that that footage was doctored to make it seem like he said go to the Capitol and fight. We conveniently skip over that, right? Yeah, people did storm the Capitol because they was mad, right? But he did not start the insurrection. That's how you know that Taros got a little bit of TDS. He didn't see that news report with BBC admitting that their editors edited that speech that way, that what was put together was a 43 minute gap in between, 47-minute gap in between when he said those two lines. You feel me? These are the dangerous people that's voting. You see, the black woman, Kamala Harris didn't have a good plan. Jasmine Crockett didn't have a good plan. Your plan can't be, yo, Trump is bad. Trump is bad. Tell us, what are you going to do? They're not going to tell you what you're going to do, but if you pay attention, you'll hear them. They said the most important thing for the Democratic Party is their immigrant constituents. How does that happen? Wow. Y'all missed that.
We've been hearing this for how long now? It's Trump's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. Even when he's not involved, it's Trump's fault.
But I would beg to differ because we're starting to see in special elections where Democrats are dominating. Even in Mar-a-Lago, the district that Mar-a-Lago is in is now blue. Like, I just don't see how the messaging is not working. I think if anything, it was the fact that people were not.
People don't like to listen. They don't like to listen. They just want to go talk. And I believe I was in the middle of speaking. So again, people want to continue to think what they think is right. If you're not going to open your mind to think about the people that you're trying to lure to your side to get what you want, and all you're doing is spewing what you think it is, and they're already saying that that's not the case and we're not listening, keep doing it. It's not going to work. So if it's just what y'all think or whoever, then that's fine. Then don't think that you're going to get somebody else if you're not trying to do anything to entice them over. Just saying that Trump is bad, that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so have you landed? So I
100% agree with you that you can't.
You see that smug attitude that skeptic got? Okay, have you landed? Like, you're going to talk about somebody went blue, bro. The other option wasn't better. There's nobody, I ain't going to say there's nobody. I'm going to say majority of the country is not wishing Kamala Harris won the election. It would have been a great historical moment. Yeah, black woman, first president. Yeah, that's great. All the symbolism and all that sounds great. But no one is happy Kamala lost. If anything, they're upset that the independent, what they call it, the Green Party, they upset that the Green Party didn't win. Right?
Can't just be like, this guy bad. Like, that never works, or that shouldn't work with anybody. The problem is, Dr. Messi, you're also being kind of disingenuous because the Democrats, for all their flaws, do have policies that are grounded in reality and supportable. For example, universal health care, price caps on Medicaid.
Universal health care is destroying Canada. Our neighbor to the north, it's a waiting list to see the doctor. All of this sounds great, right? But look to the north and happy old Canada. Taxed out the wazoo, waiting list to see a doctor. That's universal health care right there.
right? We need a renewed infrastructure on our roads and bridges. By the way, Dr. Messi, Biden did a lot of that in his first term. He actually kept some of the tariffs that were a good thing from Donald Trump's USMCA Act in order to bring in some factories. But
But also, can I add this in?
Hey, friends, 1 second. We're getting a little bit overexcited. Let the rules land. I'll give the septic this chance to say what she needs. Messi will respond, and then Kawatin interrupt it, please. Okay? Let this by order, and then we'll go from there.
What up?
And so, Dr. Messi, I would want to agree with you, but then I can just look just a couple years ago when Biden passed the Infrastructure Bill Act. All the Republicans voted no, and guess what they did, Dr. Messi? They went back to their district and campaigned on that bill being approved.
Yeah.
So the messaging is there. You just don't want to hear it.
Here's the thing about one of the issues that we just heard, right? One of the excuses that we heard was the LGBTQ, the T, as an excuse.
You know, I would like it if they bring up, Fatty, if you're watching this, if you see this, I would like it if they bring up more bills that are being introduced, right? Because that's where the real stuff is, right? What bills, who's sponsoring it, who wrote it, right? Because that's when the laws start to change. Bring up more bills. He brought up a bill that's cool. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go look into it. It's called the infrastructure bill. I'm gonna go look into where it originated from, right? Not right now, though. I'm gonna go look into where it originated from. But people should bring up more bills so they could see the type of weird stuff that Congress and our senators be doing, bro, because they be doing some devious stuff. And it's way bigger than red versus blue, bro. And that's what people don't get. Both sides are bad. Unfortunately, the Trump brand of president, for me personally, has been working out for me. The Biden years was terrible for me, right? When I became a dad during the Obama years, it was terrible for me. Even though he inherited a bad country, it was terrible for me, right? Life didn't really get really good for me until 2017, July, right? And then it got bad again, 2021, September. I'm talking about going broke. Bills no longer on auto pay. I got to start canceling cards and removing cards from auto pay when I'm doing the same hours. You know what I'm saying? The economy was bad. It was booming when Orange Man was in office the first time. I didn't have to look at my bank account. Pre-COVID. You feel me? I knew I was going broke when I started to carry cash in my wallet. I don't like cash. Because by the time you touch it, it's gone. I knew something was off.
That's less than 0.01% of the population in the US. Like, to make that, the fact that propaganda, and one thing that I will agree with, propaganda is an issue. We fall for this, the okie doke, what we call the okie doke down south. Like, you fall for something because they put it red man good, blue man bad, and you fall for that instead of going in and actually doing the research as to who that's going to affect. The fact that we have more people that are born with two genitalia here in the US, but we don't care about that. We want to make the LGBTQ an issue when in reality there is no issue. Inclusivity, equality, and equity will never be an issue for people.
It becomes an issue when you're talking about people who didn't fully get the surgery want to be in females' bathrooms. It's an issue when high school kids are transitioning just to dominate the girls' sports. That's when it becomes an issue, because it's inclusive. We all include. We've been inclusive since Obama. It's a problem when you start adding letters to your movement. It used to be LGB. You're inclusive, you add the T. You inclusive some more, you add the Q. right? Add another color scheme. Uh-oh. Add the brown and the black to the flag. Uh-oh. Add the transgender triangle to the flag. Add the IQ and all this. Like, yo, bro, y'all started bugging when y'all started bugging over pronouns. He, she, them, they. They couldn't even remember it. I troll them when they ask my pronouns on like documentations. It got he, she, him, she, her. It got them, they. It got czar. I don't even know what that is. Zer. I don't even know what that is. And then it says other. I put Jesus. I write Jesus right in that spot. I write Jesus to see if they gonna call me Jesus. If you don't call me Jesus, I'm gonna make a big spectacle about it. Because it's ridiculous.
Color. It will only be an issue for those people who the system was built to uphold, which are white people, white men in particular.
So everything that you said, Taruz.
It's funny that this white men narrative is coming. White men is the problem now, because just like 5 years ago, it was black men. So it's just men. All right? Men are the problem, apparently, when it comes to these issues. It's always men. God damn.
Would be something that Democrats need to get out as the message. If anybody on here is thinking that anyone is going to go do any research to look into shit like that, you're out of your mind.
Facts.
So it is up to you, whoever that is.
Look, they had to watch the head shake.
Like that, you're out of your mind. So it is up to you, whoever that is, Democrat or Republican, is to get that information out and in front of people. Because again, like I said before, you can keep saying Trump is bad all you.
Hey, I'm thirsty, y'all. I've been drinking a lot of water, man. Send me a Red Bull. Hit that Cash App. Like the video.
Want to.
And let me know if you want to join too. I'll drop the link.
And I don't.
My Instagram is on the scroll. Shoot me a DM. I'll drop it for you.
I don't know about all that LBQT stuff that you was just talking about, but I just use that as the example because that's what they throw in front of everyone, and you're not allowed to say anything about it, or else you're considered some obic or some ism. And some of us are tired of that. And just for the record, I'm not a doctor, just a doctor on YouTube, but thank you so much for the respect. And second, I never said that I.
Shout out to her. She told the truth. She ain't have to say that. But the fact that she said that, I respect her even more. And I'm going to keep calling her doctor.
I voted for Donald Trump. And I also didn't say that I voted for Kamala. Just FYI.
Right.
And by the way, I'm a billionaire on Monopoly too. So better respect my name too. Okay. Thank you very much for the clarification, Dr. Messi. Chaotic too, uninterrupted. And then I have something to say before we move.
What was the question again? What was the question again, Fatty?
Damn. We're talking about. No, it's fine. It's fine. CT. I know you're tired, CT. This is the frappuccino that your dog.
We definitely moved around a bit.
Let me, Jeremy. Can I actually? Because y'all didn't answer the question, kind of.
No, they didn't.
Yes.
What's the question, Fatty?
Kartik, do you think Donald Trump is a competent president?
That was the question.
No, that wasn't a question, Fatty.
No. One second, please. So this is how we got here. I asked Messi, is Donald Trump a competent president? And Messi said, to be or not to be. That's the question. And we kind of diverge into all these other things. Democrats are bad and Biden is these.
He's qualifying based off of what you need to be in order to be president. That's all.
So I will give Chaotic the chance to either answer the qualified question or these Democrats versus Republicans, if the Democrats are weak and all these. Like, I'll give you the chance to reply whoever you want to reply. And then I have a couple of statements to make.
Fatty, in America, I don't know if you watch basketball over in Portugal, but
of course he does. He's a Lakers fan.
There are about 5 highlights from Michael Jordan that are just cemented, or it'll always be in the minds of, pretty much 30 and over people, right? About 5 highlights. Now, Jordan every damn game he played phenomenal. When people ask me about Trump, you know, I could always, you know, go into depth about, you know, federal government restructuring, bore you to death with energy policy shifts. I could always bore you to death with, you know, economic nationalism and tariffs. But the Michael Jordan moment of Donald Trump, you know, Tarus, Michael Jordan's in the air, you know, dunking. The Michael Jordan moment of Donald Trump, in my opinion, are two things. One, getting these goddamn illegals up out of here. Basically turning, and I gotta say this, basically turning ICE into the stormtroopers. I gotta rock with that. I really rock with that.
I think this guy's being funny. I think this guy's being funny. I think as far as the ICE operations that's still going on that we don't get no media coverage on anymore, as far as that goes, I don't think he should have had as many people on the streets in his way. Like when people were leaking the operations, when ICE was working with local law enforcement and that information was getting out to people, and you got a whole organization following ICE and all that stuff, getting in ICE face, kicking the tail lights, and then at another what they call protest, getting shot. Oh, I can't say shot, right? Pew-pewed, right? Like, stay out their way, mind your business. It's never okay to get in the way of federal operations, right? Because I think that's a felony, right? When you got mayors and governors saying that the local police force is not going to help in any way, that's a little alarming. That's a little alarming because it was okay under Barack, right? CNN actually did ride-alongs when they went in the middle of the night and quote unquote, what they call it now, separated families, right? It was okay then, but it's not okay now. I don't know. And that's what I meant by when I say they throw these smoke screens, right? They don't want him to be successful in what he planned to do. And that's what's pissing me off. Like how anti-American are you when you want your president to fail, who won an election? Swing states, all of them. Flip Georgia back red, popular vote, electoral college. How you say he want to be a king? Half the country want the man in office. And yes, it is going to look crazy to people now because not only is he dealing with the issues that we have, he's dealing with the people, the sore losers, right? It's a lot of sore losers in his way trying to stop him. Look at what's the old man? I think I saw a meme where it was like Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi got over 40 years in office, and you trying to say Trump is the king? Man is on his 6th year after a 4-year break. But I digress. Let's continue. ICE was a Michael Jordan moment.
2, his DEI cuts. I've hated diversity and equity and inclusion because I went through, you know, we're from the same area. I went to a very, very DEI diversity bullshit college. And they were pushing that nonsense on us 22 years ago when I was in school, 23 years ago when I was in college. Those are my Trump moments. I'll never forget. I like the fact that he was open with it and getting rid of these programs and getting these people up out of here. That's all I mean, other than that, man, I could bore you to death with all the little nerdy stuff and paperwork stuff and policies, man. But it's nothing like seeing people on their ass with bullshit jobs, man, because they got in and they didn't even earn the position. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love seeing. Tarush, you remember that video I did last year? That lady at the border, she was crying. She was like, "Oh, I love that shit." Oh, because we couldn't get into the country. I love that shit. So yes, Trump is competent. The government is still functioning. We still have our army. We still have our roads. We still have a functioning government under Trump. But those are my highlights of Trump, Fatty. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Damn, let me come down real quick over here, right?
Go ahead, buddy. Go.
So the reason why Trump ended this Iran deal, other than being blackmailed by Israel, is because it was signed by Obama. We know that Trump has a chip on his shoulder because of that roast that he got during the Obama I think it was the press, whatever. So he has a chip on his shoulder. Like Donald Trump is not shy into actually reaping the things that their enemies build or perceived enemies build. So if this deal was signed by another Republican, he probably would try to hold it a little bit. But to be honest, Donald Trump said the tariffs they had in place were weak, but he was the one signing tariffs on the first term. So he literally went against his own tariffs. So I'm not sure exactly if he would stick with them. If he would stick with them.
I think when he said the tariffs was weak, Fatty, I think he was saying it's not enough. Like it's not effective enough. You know, it's how would you react if people were saying death to the untouchables, death to the untouchables, right? You know, it that's been happening for like 30 years. I know my whole life. I remember looking at my mom's face when she found out that the Ayatollah was in that military attack, right? She went to a place I never seen her go before. You know what I'm saying? As far as like body language and stuff, like disbelief. You would have thought a relative died or something. Not saying she cared for him. She just like, I ain't hear about him since I was in high school. And that's my mother telling me that. You feel me?
On the long term.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you got it.
Fatty, why are we in Iran?
Oil and Epstein files distraction and blackmail.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I don't know if you're wrong, but I'm gonna tell you why.
You don't have an opinion?
Israel too.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You don't have an opinion?
I'm gonna tell you, Fatty, why I believe we're in Iran. One word and one word only. China. Do you want to know why I say China?
Yes.
China purchases 80% of their oil from the Iranians.
Sure.
Have you seen China in the last 15 years and what these people are doing over in China? Have you seen their mega cities, bro? Have you seen the technology? Have you seen their GDP in the last 5 years? Have you seen what these people are doing? I truly believe America is in a panic mode right now. So to maintain a global hegemony, to maintain the appearance of that we are the reason why there's global security, I believe America wants to control a lot of these straits.
Sure.
Because America sees.
I don't disagree with that. KTL, I don't disagree with that. China is a big threat. They got the manpower, as you can see in a military parade. They got these new weapons we know nothing about. You know, they have a lot of I'm gonna just say assets here in America. It was at one point, I think China owned 30% of the land in the country. I know China owns the Empire State Building. I don't think a lot of people know that. China owns the Empire State Building. I remember when they bought it, they upgraded the lights. Now the top lights of the Empire State Building does these cool, like, light shows and whatnot. Yeah, China owns the Empire State Building, which has its own zip code, by the way. They own a lot. And I'm pretty sure that there's a Chinatown in every major city. Chinatown, right? That's how their immigrants could just come in, disappear, and go straight. They could just disappear into their own little community, already set up, open up a Chinese restaurant, open up a nail salon, open up a massage spot. They already got, they already got, the Western world is more disciplined than America. And that's the problem with America. We're not disciplined enough to see the plan all the way through. China is set up. They're buying up the ports in Africa, right? They hesitant on trying to take Taiwan because they don't want to go to war with us, right? Teaming up with Russia. And what's that? North Korea, South? I don't know, one of the Korea. King Jong-un, right? I don't know his name. I know his face and his haircut, though, right? China is set up all over the world, even in Panama. Last time I was in Panama, I think they owned the store in the neighborhood. Speak fluent Spanish. They speak Spanish, English, and Chinese, Mandarin. It's wild. I remember the dance hall queen in Jamaica was Chinese. Ain't that something? China is pretty set.
America sees its once great empire slipping because these Chinese men are making, I mean, bro, I gotta admit it, man. America should be ashamed of itself for not having no goddamn mega cities at this point.
That's a fact. Oh, man. We ain't got no mega city. We got New York. But this New York is falling apart, y'all. All these glass skyscrapers and stuff like that. They got the little, they got the, the little flash, but like they built some condos. I mean, over the past 12 years, they built some condos in Long Island City, downtown Brooklyn, big residential areas going up. Even the skyline is sometimes under. I don't even know what part of the city I'm looking at when I'm looking at the skyline because of all of these new tall buildings and whatnot. But like, we supposed to have a mega city over here. We supposed to have a mega city over here. And I think the mega city is supposed to be New York, right? Like Central Park should be surrounded by like just big buildings, just looking into the Central Park. Imagine Central Park from the sky looking like a courtyard of just skyscrapers. I think that'll look dope. You know what I'm saying? That'll look dope. We should have better subway service. Our subways is falling apart. They flooding now. It's like I never heard of the subway, New York subway, New York Transit's flooding. Like when it first flooded, I think that was Hurricane Sandy in 2012. But it seems like any time we get a heavy rain, the subways are flooding now. What's going on? That means something's broken. And where's the money? Like, where's the money that we be paying for the fares and whatnot? Where's that money going? And what is the workers doing? What are they doing? It's always construction. Are y'all breaking stuff in these tunnels? Because they moving real slow. I done seen many a video where a 12-hour shift, China done redid the whole station in 12 hours. What's going on?
Y'all have mega cities. It's called New York City. It's called Atlanta.
Yeah,
it's called,
New York City.
Y'all cities are bigger than every city. Hey,
Bro,
hey,
New York
hey, you
City
know
is
what they call
only-
Portugal? Hey, you know what they call Portugal if Portugal was the United States? Kentucky, like something like that. Like y'all can't like.
Hey,
y'all
but Fatty,
talking
I'm telling you, America doesn't have mega cities, bro. Like Shenzhen,
Every-
hell no. Shenzhen has 30 million people living.
But that's the point. It's not about the people. It's about the infrastructure, how much money the city.
That's another thing too. I think New York lie about its population. They say 9 million. I think it's like 20 million people here, bro. It's not just 9 million people here. I think it's like 20 million people here.
Generates and all that, and the United States.
Most of the time when we have the carnival on Eastern Parkway for Labor Day, it'd be 2 million people out there. And that's just Brooklyn. So it's like, I know it's more than 9 million people or 12 million people that they say is here. It got to be double, triple those numbers.
States, if you actually put it together, the United States probably have top 5 in the top 10. The United States probably have 5 of them. No, you can compete with LA, you can compete with New York, you can compete with Miami. There's a lot of hubs in the United States that will literally bypass one country economy just by themselves.
The United States is in fear of BRICS, and I truly believe what we are not we I ain't doing nothing, but what the United States government is doing over in Iran in the Middle East, they are putting a halt, a momentary halt on supply chain. Globally, they're putting a momentary halt on the American population slipping and falling into second or third place, man. It's coming. It's inevitable for us, man.
Case and cans, hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on. Hold on. Yo. All right, y'all, I'm back. Yeah, drinking too much water.
You didn't listen.
I'm an American.
To
I'm telling you,
you didn't listen to. You didn't listen to Tarus. I respect all of y'all professional acumen. Tarus is a genius. I'm sorry. When it comes to politics, undefeated by far. Did you notice what he said about BRICS? Y'all are pushing everybody to the arms of China and Russia. These countries that literally were in movies for centuries being the bad guy now are seen as the good guy. Like countries for the first time are looking at BRICS, they are looking at Russia, they are looking at China, and they're saying, at least these dudes, they might be villains, but they don't change their mind every 4 years. We do a climate agreement, they break it. We do a nuclear agreement, they break it. Like the United States can be trusted. That's why, for example, the African countries rather have the Chinese imperial of peace coming in and develop infrastructure, because they rather deal with the stability of Chinese, even if they are going to rob them, than dealing with the United States that is randomly sending forces to Nigeria.
My bad if y'all heard that. I had to go, man. I've been drinking a lot of water.
Because Christians are in trouble. Like you can't do those things, because you are for the first time in history pushing European countries, South American countries, African countries, and countries that were allies forever to the ends of China. China and the United States control the world differently. Y'all use imperialism. We are the strongest. We have the best economy. We control the dollar by the the oil by the petrodollar. So if you don't do what we want, we do what we did to Gaddafi. We do what we did to all these countries in the Middle East, South America. We depose people and put our puppets. China is the fake nice guy. Oh, those guys are beating you over there. Let me give you some information. Let me give you some discounts. Let me give you zero tariffs. By the time Trump put tariffs on countries, China was announcing on the next day, you know what, guys? No tariffs for y'all. Let's do business. You are not going to defeat China with a strong end. You have to have a velvet glove and make sure that.
And I guess that's what they mean by soft power, right? It was a lot of people in Congress talking about Trump sacrificed a lot of our soft power for his agenda and whatnot. And I can agree with that. You heard what Fatty said? China is the fake nice guy, but I don't think you should like lose faith in America just yet, because this market, like, it's a reason everybody want to come here, right? People are not, well, there are some Americans that vlog and say they moved to China and Thailand and all that, but every other person on the world, most of the people in these other nations want to come to America, and it's for a good reason, right?
You do the same thing that they do, but for whatever reason, the United States a couple of months ago, and these was Republicans a couple of years ago, they started to defund programs around the world that was putting wells in Africa, that was doing very terrible things around the world, because they said it was a waste of money, because if we have homeless and we're sending money to Ukraine, this is a bad look for us. But this is how you actually regain power and control, and this is why.
And the tariffs are killing trade deals with global partners. You know, I mean, when he imposed the tariffs, he said, open up your markets to U.S. sellers, right? I don't think that's a bad idea, bro. You feel me? Cases and cams. Why can't I sell my t-shirts in Europe? You feel me? That's unfair. We can't forget about that part. That's unfair. Korea sell a cars here. Like I brought up the Kia factory in Georgia. I think there's a Nissan factory in Mississippi. Right? Like, why isn't there a Ford factory in China? You feel me? I'm pretty sure if it was a Ford factory in China, you know, we will be all right. Why isn't it a Ford factory in Europe somewhere? Europe is pretty small, but it's a lot of, like how we got the United States, all 8 countries is right next to each other, right? You could go for a long drive and end up in Portugal or something like that. You feel me? So it's crazy. Like, I don't think it's hey, you don't want tariffs? Open up your market. That's and I don't think that's a bad idea. You don't want tariffs? Open up your market. Have a free market. Until then, bring manufacturing back to the United States.
When your troops fly and land, you are admitted as heroes, because those people remember that you put a well on the ground. So now when American soldiers come in, he is a Power Ranger. He is not Thanos. This changed now. Most of countries are looking at the United States funny. So I don't think chaotic by fucking up the Strait of Hormuz, that is fucking up our economy too, because our prices are crazy too, right? I don't think a Spanish citizen or a Finland citizen that sees their cost of life going crazy because of a war that they didn't start, I don't think they're going to look at the United States with better eyes. I think they actually would like more China, because China is the ones that actually are supporting the people that were attacked and not the people that attacked other people. You have the chance to reply. I'll like say just one more thing, and then I want the panel to give final thoughts so we can go to the super chats and to the next topic.
You were saying, do I want to reply?
Yes, if you want to reply, yes.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. We have time. We're fine. Don't worry. We have time.
Sure.
Yes, we have time.
I'm pretty sure you guys have iPhones, right? Some of you have iPhones.
Yes. No, we don't. We're not losers over here.
Okay.
We have.
In the US, we have iPhones.
Yeah, we have Androids, Samsungs. Yes.
You know who makes the iPhone? You know who manufactures the iPhone?
Probably a Taiwanese person.
Chinese.
Sure.
Chinese. Yeah. Look inside your battery port. Bro. The real war is the American citizens. If you really want to change things globally as American citizens, you know how like we always talk about in America decoupling from China. Oh man, we need to decouple. You know, I read a book called Death by China by Peter Navarro. Great book, by the way. He worked under the first Trump administration. And he was in a book going in on China, dogging China. And I said, you know what? This is the exact reason why we might lose out, why the dollar is going to be devalued, yada, yada, yada. Because we won't even do, hell, I won't even do it. I did a test one day, Fatty. I said, everybody that calls in, turn your camera on and show me anything made in America in your home. Show me anything.
See, that's what I was getting at. We don't make nothing. We depend on China. Like, yo, remember Temu? Temu was the fastest app to $1 billion in a long time, man. You feel me? They sell so much. They'll sell a nail clipper. It could be how much I paid for this nail clipper, about $19.99 or something. They'll sell it for $2.99 as long as you order $200 worth of goods, and they're gonna send it through some crappy delivery service. We don't make nothing. We don't make nothing at all. We don't make our steel. We don't make nothing. A lot of these American businesses find overseas manufacturers, bring the product back, do the quality control till they get it right and sell it to the customers. We don't make nothing. We make Facebook. We make Instagram. We don't make nothing. And these jobs are cutting jobs. I think Oracle just cut 30,000 jobs. So who's working? Who's going to pay all that unemployment? Right? Shit is crazy.
Nobody can do it, man. Fatty, we've lost, man. So this war in Iran, this is nothing. This is something manufactured, man, for something even bigger.
Now that he mentioned that, it's like the war in Iran is like it's not a war officially yet. This military operation in Iran is like a test sample. Like, look, we still got them bombs. We still got that fire. You feel me? We did lose the war. And we lost since I was a kid, but we lost since like, what's that war they had before? Somebody in the chat, tell me what was the name of that war that we had before the towers went down? I think it was like early 90s, late 80s or something like that. Let me see. It's the Gulf War. Yeah, the Gulf War. We lost since then. We've been holding this L since the Gulf War. Desert Storm. That's right. That's right. Desert. I was going to say Desert Storm, but it's called the Gulf War. Yeah. You feel me? We lost since then. We've been holding this L since then, cases and cams. And we've been legislating our way out of it, but it just ain't been working, bro. It ain't been working. I think Bush was in power around that time, because after that, Bill Clinton got in. Yeah. That's when Bill sold us out. Bill Clinton sold us out to save the country a little bit. But yeah, we've been holding that L ever since. We've been living on fluff.
Say it's nothing like the issue
if there was
issue that's
nothing,
going
the
to be
United
coming,
States,
China.
if there was nothing, Trump wouldn't put tariffs on Chinese industry to get jobs back. And this is the problematic part with this conversation is, once again, they are playing 3D chess. Y'all move the manufacturing over there. There's nothing you can do, because if you
and the thing too, when we moved the manufacturing over there, China reverse engineered the stuff and started making bootlegs. Right? That's why Elon Musk wanted to get up out of there. He was like, "You're not getting my tech for my cars." But then Chinese started making electric cars, and their electric cars are dope too. I ain't gonna even hold you. Those Chinese electric cars are fire. Fire. They got this one truck that's better than a Rolls Royce. It's beautiful. The back seat do a 360. It's refrigerators. It's all electric too. It's refrigerators, automatic doors, great materials in the inside for the interior. Glass roof. You got TVs, all electric. All electric.
text them,
And
they will move their.
And I think it's only like $80,000 for all that luxury Chinese electric car. I don't know the name of it, of course, because it's Chinese, but it's here.
Industries to 72 countries before they get to the United States. They'll go to Cambodia, they'll go to Vietnam, they'll go to Mongol, they go to Portugal or Brazil way before they move the jobs to the United States, because the United States cost of living, the salaries are the biggest on the planet, and nobody wants to, like, the biggest bill is employees. You don't want to do it in the United States when 1 day or 2 days of salary is probably the salary of a Vietnamese. So,
and I think that's what's wrong with the economy right there. The cost of living is too high, right? And then it's hard to make that. It's even hard to make that argument when a CEO is getting a $25 million bonus at the end of the year. Yo, bruh, take an extra $2 million and split that $25 million amongst your employees. You'll change their life. I know of one company. It's a bread company, right? It's a bakery. Everybody, the CEO down to the person on the assembly line, the packaging line, they all get the same salary. Everybody gets the same salary. That's not a bad way to run a business, right? If I'm running a business that grows $24 million a year and my overhead for the year is $12 million and I got 12 million employees, I don't think it's a bad idea everybody get $1 million a year. That's not a bad idea. That would make you take pride in your job if you knew you and your boss was making the same amount. For real. It's a bread company. Look it up. It's a bread company that pay all his employees the same amount of money. And they're doing well. Everybody.
If this was, and I'm sorry, Chicky, for interrupting you, it's kind of hilarious that, again, we are going to do things.
Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you like the content, and buy me a Red Bull. I'm tired of drinking water.
And then we're going to blame the other side for the things that we do. These companies and these governments have no problem in capitalism until capitalism actually injures their imperialism. All of a sudden, it's not capitalism anymore. Bring the companies over here. We need to be nationalists. No. If Nike wants to do their shoes in Taiwan because their margin of profit is bigger, all y'all capitalist conservative douchebags should be very happy to do it, because y'all believe in crony capitalism. If Elon Musk is a billionaire, I can be a billionaire too. Why are you forcing me to bring back the my company to the United States and to lose a tremendous share of profit because you don't feel is right? Right? So again, conversation for another day. Let me get Cheeky over here and then I'll read the super chats, okay?
Yeah. The reason why we don't know why we're in Iran is because there's not been a concerted effort for the president to communicate anything, right? The reason why Chaotic Truth can ask you, Fatty, why are we in Iran, and you can come up with an idea, and he can come up with an idea, is because nobody actually knows why, right? The only answer that we have right now is Israel, right? Because when you look at the intelligence, or when you look at what happened with Tulsi Gabbard's congressional hearing, she said, we didn't declare Iran an immediate threat. We already taken out their nuclear weapons based off of reportings from months.
And that's what I was saying at the beginning of the stream. We took out the threat. We took out the nuclear. That was we was concerned with, the nuclear weapons, right? Why are we back?
To go. And then when the question was asked, does it seem like Iran or the United States and Israel is aligned in their war efforts, or the purpose for being in Iran? She answered no. And this is coming from the head of our intelligence. So if the reason why we have no idea why we're in Iran is because he has no idea why he's in Iran. He got tricked by Bibi Netanyahu to get into a war, which Israel has always wanted a war with Iran in the Middle East. These things are not uncommon when you start looking at the history of Israel and what they've been trying to do. The reason why we don't know why we're in a war is because our own president doesn't even know. He has no idea. He didn't know that the same group of people, the replacement, although it wasn't supposed to be a regime change, or it was technically supposed to be one, all the replacements he ended up killing. And the intelligence came from Israel. So we're dealing with a president who is not using any form of government that he controls by all measures. The House, the Senate, he controls every facet of government, even on the judicial level, and he can't pass a law, and he won't pass a law. He'll just keep using executive whatever they call. My mom's going blank.
Executive order.
Executive orders, just for them to be repealed or moved out of the way for another president to do it, because he's not a competent leader. He's not a competent president. There's no way, as somebody who has the House, the Senate, and all branches of government, and no laws getting passed besides the big ugly bill or big beautiful bill, however you decide you want to look at it. That's the problem. We have no idea what we're doing in Iran. We don't know how long we're going to be there, and we can't really control the outcome. We can't control anything because the president we're dealing with has no control. There's no one holding him back.
Can I offer some?
Buckle up, everyone. It's time for some super chats.
Teruz, I got you. I'll give you the microphone.
I'm gonna fast forward the super chats, y'all. Let's see where we at. Yeah, he had a lot of super chats.
You at Black LT.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the think you is?
Salute. So, friends, let's go back to the show. I'm not going to let it pile up so much so we can stay here for like so many minutes, getting cold. Tarus, do you have anything to say before I move the conversation to the next topic?
Yeah, real quick. This is kind of directed at you, Cheeky. Just a little bit of pushback with we don't know why just for the specific, we don't know why we got in the war. Chris was sending some super chats. I disagree with most of them except the last one, which is Marco Rubio and Donald Trump told us specifically why we got into this war. Let me remind the panel and the audience, Marco Rubio specifically said we knew Israel was going to strike Iran first, no matter what, and they was going to retaliate by hitting us, so we decided to hit them first.
Yeah, wow, yeah. Tarus came in clutch with that one. I remember him saying that. Yeah, woo! I got an applause for that because I definitely forgot. And that's the problem. Like they mucking the waters, man. Like they fooling us. Where my claps at? Here we go. Yeah, that's for you, Tarus. That's for you, Tarus. It's all a joke. with the OnlyFans and whatnot. That answer you just said came in clutch, because you absolutely right on that. He did say Israel was going to strike first and they was going to retaliate by hitting America, so we struck them first. That is absolutely right.
Donald Trump specifically has said all of a sudden that Iran was months away from obtaining a nuke, even though, and I quote, he said,
man, they've been saying Iran was close to a nuke for 30 years, man. It is always 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away, 2 weeks away, 2 weeks away for 30 years.
Said after we bombed their facilities in June of 2025, their facilities, quote, completely obliterated. His new favorite word, right, guys? He keeps saying obliterated over and over and over again. And so he's told us exactly why, regardless if you guys want to take it at the word or not. And then, Cheeky, you know Donald Trump is scatterbrained. Another big reason is listen to him and Bibi Netanyahu. These are a bunch of old-ass dudes talking about their mortality. He's trying to throw his face on every single banner he can. He got his name trying to get put on the airport right now. You see the shit show with the Trump Kennedy Center. He is just trying to be known for anything because he's on the clock, my opinion.
Also, can I add in the JCPOA that we pulled out of? Again, like Fatty was saying that Obama had put into place. It literally was saying that their uranium their nuclear program had to be under a certain percentage. So when we pull out of that, we have no alternative. We have no, we go and attack. And this is an offensive war, right? That means that on our part, we have a certain thing we want to target. They were not attacking us, and we responded as a defense. And that's the reason why a lot of countries that are our allies don't want to get into it. Because now not only did we attack first, and there is no real reason as to why we attacked, being that we had an agreement with this country, but now if you get in it, now you're going to be targeted also. Not to mention that we're supposed to be not wasting, no fraud, no abuse, right? We're supposed to be saving the American dollar for the taxpayers here in America. And now it is like over $1 billion a day to be in this conflict. We have gone.
Yeah, I found that out a couple days ago. $1 billion a day is wow. That's a billion a day. $1 billion a day, that's a lot of money. That's too much money. And that's our money, y'all. For my people in America, that's our money. $1 billion a day is too much money, man. For real. Like, share, and subscribe.
Up $2.2 trillion in 2025. We don't even have a count for 2026. So this man, if you want to talk about qualifications, he isn't a politician. You're right. He doesn't know what he's doing. When you look at the policy that he had for foreign countries and how it was that he was going to keep peace, it was peace through strength. And I don't know if anybody took the time to read that website on the White House page. It had nothing to do with keeping peace. He had no foreign policy other than talking about his greatness and how amazing he was and how strong of a man he is. He's very masculine, so masculine that we're in a war that we should have never been in.
So, friends, let's move up. Let's move to the second topic, okay? And since we're talking about the Iran war, let's just stay over here, okay? Let's go with the last. Let's go with the Israel Ghost Infantry. Okay, we see the airstrikes, but we are the boots. Rumors are swirling that Israel is letting American soldiers take the ground level risks while they stay behind the Iron Dome. Are we being played by our closest allies, or is this a master stroke of strategy? Okay, so there's rumors that the United States might put boots on the ground. The Israelis already told, nope, we're not about their life. We're not going to go there, right? I want to know y'all opinion about this. Let me start with Jeremy because he's been quiet for a while, and then we go to HQ and the rest of the panel. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So my opinion about this is very simple. I do believe we're being played by Israel. I believe that Israel is the reason why we're in the war in the first place, and the reason why young lady
can we bring your volume up a little bit?
It's a little bit muffled.
That better?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, much better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry again, everybody.
Thank you,
I'll restate again. I do believe Israel is actually at fault, and the reason why. Young lady from TikTok said it perfectly. We had a deal. It was working. It's been there for a while. But you know who didn't like that? Netanyahu. He actually said this was the worst thing ever made in history. And you know who did the first strike? Netanyahu. And you know who had to respond after that? Us. And you know why? Because we got our information from who? Israel, Mossad. Because FBI have not been able to get over there. CIA has not been able to get in there. I don't know if y'all know how CIA work, but they talk together. Those high intelligence, they talk to each other. So they didn't have enough space to be over there. We can't occupy and get information over there. So what do? We share information. So
you think they don't know?
I think that they know because they.
My neighbors keep slamming. That's why I like living on the top floor. Like, I can't be having nobody above me. Y'all heard that thump? I don't know. Maybe my mic didn't pick that up. My bad, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe.
They shared information. That's how that works.
The United States military industry, like all of the most funded group of the government, you think they don't have intel on what is going on in like they need Israel to know that?
There's an intelligence agency for every major area, and they work together. That's what, and that's the part that people are not understanding. Israel gave information that they wanted us to know. It was up for us to do a recheck on that. Now, whether that happened or whether that didn't, it doesn't matter because we're already in the war. So that's my point of view on all of this.
HQ?
I'm going with Tulsi Gabbard in early 2025, who came out and said there was no imminent threat from Iran. And then Donald Trump shut her down and hid her. And then they went to war with Iran, or they took shots at Iran. So, yes, I believe that we got tricked into the war by Netanyahu. Not tricked, but he waited until he could get a goofy president to go along with that saber rattling that he was doing for years and years and years. It's an imminent threat. We're in trouble.
He been man. Every time I see Netanyahu, he keep talking about Iran and 2 weeks away. It's always 2 weeks away. It's been 2 weeks away since I was 7 years old, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
It's a preemptive strike. We got to do what we got to do before Iran hits us. Yeah, Iran may have been trying to hit Israel, but Iran wasn't trying to attack United States. They can say death to Americans all day long. They've been saying that for years, 30 years, but they still haven't tried anything. And Tulsi Gabbard said it was.
But that's one of the reasons he wanted Greenland, man, because like, yo, I don't think people realize crossing the Atlantic Ocean is not the shortest path to America. It's crossing the Arctic Ocean. That's the shortest path. They have to shoot those missiles north, fly over Europe and all those other countries that's above Iran, go over the ocean, over Canada, hit the continental 48 United States. Greenland is in an optimum position to early detection of said missiles, which is why he wants Greenland to be a state. Same thing with Canada. If Canada was to become a state, we have access to the Arctic Ocean and those shipping lanes. It is some shipping lanes that's accessible during a certain time of the year. I think the summer equinox of the Northern Hemisphere, right? We'll have access to all three oceans freely, and we can better protect the United States. So there is a military strategic reason why we would want those two nations to be under the American banner, like said Puerto Rico.
It's not an imminent threat in early 2025. So I'm going along with what she said. We got tricked into it because Netanyahu got into Trump's ear and said X, Y, and Z, and then he went along with it. Why do you think Barack Obama didn't go along with it when he was talking to Barack Obama? Why do you think Biden didn't go along with it when he was talking to Biden? Because they had enough sense to know that would be a start of a war, a world WW3. I can't say the WW word. It would be a start of a World War III if we got into the middle of the, got into that kind of fight. They already had the long range thought that they would close the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody wanted to do that. Everybody in the world looked at it like, what? 20%? You should have known not to go over there. So it wasn't a matter of being tricked. Let me change my wording. It wasn't a matter of being tricked. It was a matter of catering to somebody's ego. And you catered to Donald Trump's ego, saying we need to do X, Y, and Z, and you got convinced into doing it. I'm saying we could have did it years ago because they've been saying kill Americans a long time ago, but we never did because we have presidents who thought that stuff through. The Strait of Hormuz would have been part of that strategy. So why didn't the president think of that before he went over there? Why didn't you think of that?
Kartik?
I think Islam is the worst institution, one of the worst institutions in the last millennia. If Israel,
yo, Broby, he said Islam is one of the worst institutions in the last millennia. I don't agree with that, but I'm gonna let him finish.
wants to police any Muslim country for the matter. I believe that America should always assist. These people harbor terrorists. Let's be honest about it. Let's be honest about it. All this is about oil. But if we just look on the surface, I support Israel and I support the actions in Iran. And a lot of this is a blood feud going back thousands of years, man. But Islam is really the worst thing right now on the planet, particularly radical Islam.
Well, say that. Don't say Islam. Say radical Islam. Now, if you threw that radical in there the first time you said it, I wouldn't have had to hold my head. But god damn, bro. My bro be clip farming for real. Jesus.
And if these people are,
or Allah, right? No, Muhammad,
are in these countries doing whatever they do, hey man, so be it. So be it. That's the way I look at it, man. I look at it like this, man. You're supposed to kill your enemies, to be honest with you. So, I mean, to me, this is an open and shut case with me. I'm very, very pro Israel when it comes to this, man. I'm just gonna be honest about it.
Just to clarify before Tarus goes, and Chiki, just give me just a second because he wants to say something. So you are okay with sending American boots on the ground to? You are okay?
They signed up,
right?
didn't they? They signed up. They signed up, right?
Oh shit.
No.
I mean, yeah, they signed up, but like, you want to know you fighting for a country, not for Israel, right? You don't join the army to go fight for Israel. You join the army to go fight for America, right? And its interests. That's the part that could get a little cloudy. But yeah, when you do sign up for the military, you gotta be ready to go fight. And it's literally the job description.
100%
Did they sign up for the military?
No.
That's wild.
No.
Did they sign up for the military?
You are out of your mind because they did not sign up to do that.
Mike is real. I can barely hear him.
No, we're not going to do that. No, the United States military does not sign up to be a pit bull. I'm sorry, that's not what we were for. It's not what we were for when I was in. It's not what it is for now.
Yeah, I didn't like that Islam comment neither. But when he say radical Islam, I can agree with that. But like, yeah, that initial Islam comment, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I don't know why he's afraid.
Yes, you do have to do what the commander in chief tells you to do, but do understand this was not our fight to begin with. Just like I said before, this has nothing to do with us. So no, I do not agree with that. And I actually think we've already been on the ground. If you just want to be 100% honest, I think those numbers are disingenuous. Y'all love that word on YouTube. And I think that more of our men and women have died already. So no, I don't agree with that. And if any American citizen agrees that we should be over there fighting over there for this reason, then you're wrong.
Nah, Jeremy, I agree with you. I don't think we need boots on the ground. I think we need to just handle it all from the air. I mean, we got enough robotics. Go ahead, send in the Tesla bots, see what's going on. But we don't need boots on the ground. We don't need no blood spilled in this war on the American side, bro. For real. You doing your military strikes. You doing your F-15 flyovers and your B-52s or whatever it is, them stealth bombers and whatnot. Continue doing that. Don't put boots on the ground.
Jeremy, let me piggyback off what you just said, because I want to tell everybody who don't know me, man. I was in the Army, active duty, 8 years. I have 2 deployments to Iraq. First one was 15. The second one was 12. I saw all of our allies, despite Iraq being an illegal war, banging in the desert with us, except one country, and y'all all know what country I'm talking about. Despite the fact that they also helped give us the intelligence that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, right? And so now, once again, we are in a situation where we're leading the charge that someone else started, that Israel started.
Israel didn't help with the Iraqi war?
Jeremy, to your point, there was already 2,200 Marines being sent on the ship about a week, the first week. Now we already know 82nd Airborne's getting ready to deploy.
Right.
Right. We already know we got military bases with troops in the area to begin with.
I know that.
We already know that some of the bases got hit.
Exactly.
We already know that some of the bases already got hit. So how did they not get casualties if they didn't know the bomb was coming?
Well, unfortunately, guess what? We're at 13 right now, Jeremy. There was casualties.
That's what I'm saying, and I don't think that number is correct.
Wrong about that. And CT, I got.
So they think more than 13 soldiers were with them strikes. Yeah, they do be caking the numbers, man. And
CT. And so CT, the issue is we live in the West that you love so much. We live in a secular country that you and I love so much. So why are our elected officials and a secular government citing biblical texts to start a war in the Middle East? You see, CT, we just entered ourselves into, and thanks to Mike Huckabee himself, we entered into a holy war. So guess how the Middle Easterns are going to treat it? And by the way, CT, that was a Tomahawk missile that hit that school that killed 160 girls. There's only one country on the planet that produces Tomahawk missiles. There's only 3 countries on the planet that uses.
Yeah, collateral damage, man. Unfortunately, military strikes and wars not pretty, and there's always going to be collateral damage, bro. You know what I mean? It's not like we purposely hit it. You know, we probably got some intel. Somebody was in there that we needed to get. That's unfortunate that those 126 girls passed away. But war is not pretty. It's not.
Tomahawk missiles, and 2 of them aren't entering the war. UK and France, CT. That leaves us.
But I like the way
that. And so now 168 kids. I want you to multiply that by how many parents they have, how many uncles they have, how many aunties they have, how many cousins they have, and that's how many enemies you just created to our country.
Yeah,
I had a friend who was from. I have a friend from Pakistan, and she was over there when we was bombing the area and whatnot. And she told me, she said she used to hate America. She lives here now, but she was just telling me the stories, and that was the first time I was able to get a perspective of the war on terror from someone who was not an American, from someone who was from the area that we were bombing. And she had some really terrifying stories about when U.S. soldiers, the U.S. military would destroy the villages and whatnot. And I got some stories from my cousin when he told me his orders was to just go into these villages and finish everything. You feel me? So yeah, what Taurus just said, 164 kids times 2 parents times uncles and aunties. Yeah, those how many enemies you just made. That's very true.
This isn't about religion. I think if you bring in religion, you're strawmanning the argument, because I will say this: Christianity has taken way more lives. When we talk about as a whole, what Christianity has done and the unalivings that it has caused, and on TikTok, that's what we say. It's like, don't make it about religion.
Yeah, I got to get my internet link. Unalivings.
Because Christianity is going to lose every time. Islam is the second most common religion that is practiced. So I think that you straw man it by saying that it is because of a religion. It's not. In reality, this is because we have an unqualified person who came in and was jealous. We already had an agreement, like I've said multiple times. And I also think that not only is Israel part of the problem, they are a very specific, small part of the problem. America as a whole has been out here and is now saying from the president's mouth that Cuba is next. Like, we didn't just bomb one school. We bombed multiple schools. America is an imperialistic nation. And as a whole, America is not going to stop. They're going to continue to bully people to do the things that they want them to do for their own benefit and to make things cheap. This is the capitalistic way of thinking. And some even argue that imperialism is the last stage of capitalism. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I think it's interesting to note that it has nothing to do in reality with religion. Because if you make it about religion, the president is 38 count felon, and his wife was a prostitute at some point. And literally, we have a magazine with her and no.
I wish they stopped bringing up that felon situation, because his charges was upgraded to felonies when it should have been 38 counts of it should have been 38 misdemeanors. They bumped it up to felonies so he wouldn't be on the ballot. Stop saying that. His wife was a prostitute, and we got AOC trying to legalize prostitution in New York. So stop saying that, right? So, like, I don't like that people be willing to go below the belt just to try to make their point. You were making fine points until you attacked the man wife for why is the president's wife catching strays? Because she did Playboy, and she did Playboy. She was a porn star, not a prostitute. It's a difference. She wasn't walking the streets. She wasn't doing webcam. She was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to take pictures in the nude for Playboy. Okay. President Trump's felonies, 38 felonies, were misdemeanors that they bumped up to felonies to try to make a point. Stop saying that. Y'all need to stop saying that. Letitia James just did the same thing. Nobody's coming at her. Nobody's coming at her, calling her a felon. She did the same exact thing. Change some numbers and change some information on a paper. Same crime. So stop that, please.
Close up. on. So like, please miss me with the fact that you like the conservative movement wants to make it about, oh, let's be more family oriented when the DHS husband was out here called a bimbo on online. So like, it's not about morals. It's not about that. In the backspace of this, it's about them making money and about oil.
Fatty, you there, buddy?
Now,
I don't know if you want to go. Yeah,
I'm gonna give a little pushback.
Oh, well, let me.
drop.
Oh,
Go ahead, Chaotic, if you want to go ahead.
let me say this real quick. Taros, I rock with you. I rock with all of you. Stop the bullshit. Y'all don't care about those 168 kids that got killed. Just like you don't care about the little boys and girls over in the Congo.
What's this nigga?
Coltan or cobalt from those mines so that your cell phones can work. You guys don't care about those people. You guys are just you guys just don't like design.
Oh yeah, okay. So I only missed the first hour and a half because to Chaotic point, watch a skeptic make an excuse talking about we live in a capitalistic society. It's fine when you benefit from it though. But what Chaotic Truth is saying right here, I remember this part. What Chaotic Truth is about to say right here, he's absolutely right. We do not care about those kids mining in the cobalt mines because we need that to power and work as components in our iPhone.
Cell phones can work. You guys don't care about those people. You guys are just you guys just don't like the Zionist state. You guys don't like Israel. That's all what this is about. You guys, you guys are picking and choosing when to be moral and when not to be fucking moral. Come on, man. You can play that political stuff with anybody else, but not me. Let's cut the bullshit. Because none of us right now are willing to smash our phones that are made with the hands of 6 and 7-year-old kids who are dying in mines over in Congo. Am I lying? That's how our cell phones are made. That's a part of their supply chain. So none of us are really moral. None of us like Islam. Let's be completely honest about that one too. None of us want to live under the previous Iranian state that pretty much oppressed those people after the revolution in 79 or 80. Let's stop the bullshit. Israel is a secular state. We are going into a global system of secularism, and Islam is holding us back. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's cut the bullshit. Now, if those kids really died, from my understanding, the IDF hit the wrong target. Okay, if those kids really died, that's tragic. But there's tragedies all over, man. Why are we picking and choosing? None of y'all have anything to say about what Islam is doing over in Nigeria, in the northern part of Nigeria. And I bet, and I bet, hold on,
what they doing in Nigeria? Somebody in the chat can let me know what they doing in Nigeria, because that's definitely not on the news. I would like to know what Islam is doing in Nigeria.
Let me finish. And I bet if a black Nigerian ordered the killings of those Muslims and some of them kids died, none of you would say anything about it. None of
national headlines.
Let me just finish.
It's just a crazy argument.
Right when you guys are talking, hold on. Let's. Okay, all right. You guys
1 second. Let 1 second.
Chaotic know how to gaslight. He's good. I gotta find his content. I don't know what his YouTube channel is. I gotta find his content. You know who got good content too? Boogie. Boogie got good content as well. But yeah, Chaotic know how to gaslight. But he got a point.
1 second, Brad. 1 second.
He got a good point.
Let him land.
I mean, I didn't cut anybody off when
let him land. I want Septic Cantarus to respond to it. And Cheeky, please, uninterrupted. I need to go to Messi Mission. I have a question for her. Go ahead, Septic. Chaotic, finish your point and let them rebuttal to you.
None of you right now on the panel, you don't care about the Uyghurs and how the CC or the Chinese government are treating the Uyghurs. None of you care about Kim Jong-un and how he's treating his people, his father, his grandfather treated the people of North Korea. I don't see anybody marching for that. I live around a college campus right now. Every time I'm walking past these stupid liberal kids They're always chanting pro-Palestine, pro-Palestine. The
Shout out to the 17 people watching. I should have 17 likes.
Jews are bad. I never seen any of them protest against China, protest against North Korea. Never seen.
You never saw free
Never
Taiwan.
seen it.
You never saw free Taiwan from the lead.
Never seen it. I'm telling you what I've seen.
4
Patty.
years ago, you
I'm
never saw
telling
free
you
Taiwan. That's crazy.
Patty, I'm telling you what I've seen. So again, if a black did it to Muslims, nobody would say anything. But because the Jews are doing it, the Jews, they're always up to something. Ooh, they're controlling the world. Stop it. Stop.
Septic and Tarus have the chance to reply.
You guys don't care.
And then she can interrupt.
The type of argument that this is a red herring, right? Where you're bringing in an irrelevant fact, the fact that we cannot help that we're in a capitalistic system, but we are indirectly upholding the system, but we are not directly supporting it. There's a difference between me saying I live in the system, I abide in the system, and I have to move in the system, then I want to uphold the system. Like, I don't wake up and want to uphold the system. And you cannot say that they accidentally bombed this school when they came back 45 minutes later and bombed it again and have bombed multiple schools. And the fact that you say, sure, you're trying to use this argument of like, oh, we're all doing it. I don't want to do.
Who bombed the school? Did we bomb the school or did Israel bomb the school? Who bombed the school?
Do it. I don't wake up and say, you know what? I'm going to be okay with my government going and bombing a school full of kids. I'm going to snap back. This is why we saw thousands, in the hundreds of thousands Americans out in the streets protesting in the No Kings protests not that long.
Which is one of the most dumbest protests ever, bro. He's not a king, because if he was a king, you wouldn't be able to protest. If he was a king, he would have been doing what they did to those protesters in Iran. Think about that.
Ago, because we do not support this. The fact that you do support it, you have a direct association with what this government is doing. The rest of us want him out of office. The rest of us think he's not qualified. We are voting in people, and this is why you're seeing the blue tsunami coming in America.
Is she a paid, like the blue tsunami? I never heard of these terms. What do you mean the blue tsunami? I mean, in history, the sitting president party always lost the midterms. Right? That's just what happens. And that's what's going to happen. The Republicans are going to lose the midterms. That's my prediction. They're going to lose the midterms. That's what's going to happen. If he win, it'll be for the first time in a long time. But that's what usually happens. He's going to lose.
America in all districts and all special elections, putting in people that are blue or left-leaning, so that.
Why are they saying that are blue? You got to name these people in the policies that they're doing, because Virginia is a shithole right now. They getting taxed out the wazoo. They went blue. So it's like she's saying this with all this confidence, but like they're trying to take our guns, bro. Virginia is going after the legal gun owners, thinking that's going to make the streets safe. That's what's happening.
They can get him out of office, because unlike some people, we don't directly support this.
Go ahead, Tarus, and then Chicken interrupted, please.
I'm good. Go ahead, Chicken.
You were talking to me? Oh.
No, Chiki. You want to either address what they said or talk about the boots on the ground?
You're asking if I supported the boots on the ground, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so no, that would be no, but I think that's kind of obvious. I don't even.
Okay, yeah, I saw the rest of it, so I didn't miss much. I just missed the first hour and a half. Once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is a late show. It's always going to be late at night. Not really late at night, but it's going to be at night because I like how I could adjust my lights and stuff at night. I'm going to be dropping pre-recorded reviews of things I think I need to review. The banner at the bottom is going to say the dark room. But just subscribe to the channel if you're liking it. Thank you. I appreciate everybody that was rocking with me for tonight. But I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's late. I seen this part of the show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll be back. I don't have a set schedule. I just go with the flow. I try to avoid streaming when the Untouchables are streaming, or when a team member of the Untouchables is streaming. I believe Cammy is streaming right now, so I suggest y'all go over there. She's more into the games and stuff. But thanks for rocking with me. This is your boy CEO. This is the Late Show with CEO, and I'll be back soon. Peace.